That's what's happening. So they, we say don't have to. I, we say don't have to. He or she, we would say doesn't have to. But that means a lack of necessity. It means it's not necessary for them to do this. Lack of necessity, which is the opposite of necessity. So, I don't have to leave until next month. He doesn't have to go to school today. Lack of necessity. So, ought to, should, shouldn't, have to, has to. Those are words that we use to give different meaning to what kind of advice we're giving someone. Necessity, lack of necessity, or just advice. Okay? Do you think you could use these in sentences and get them all correct? We'll try. Okay? Okay, so we're going to try number 40, page 46, and thank you.
Maybe we stop
for a few minutes? Yeah.
2 minutes and no leaking.
Yeah, there you go.
ขอปิดสัก15 นาทีครับมันก็จะหยุดนะ
Yeah, it's actually leaking even on the
ร้อนนิดหน่อยนะแป๊บเดียวนะ
It's cool enough. We'll be comfortable. Yeah, we'll be comfortable. So page 46, and what we're going to do is to put in the correct term. We're going to put in either ought to, should, shouldn't, have to, or has to. Okay? And I will read the first sentence up to, and then we're going to take turns starting with number 2. Okay? Anna and Bill just got engaged, and they are planning to get married in 4 weeks. Because the wedding is so soon, they are feeling a lot of pressure. Anna's mother wants a big wedding, but Anna and Bill don't. Because they are paying for the wedding themselves, they believe they ought to do what they want. Okay, now, start with another, where the sentence says another pressure, and then put in the right there where it is blank. Another pressure. Correct. That is correct. Another pressure is all of the things Anna and Bill have to do before their wedding. We use have to because it is a necessity that these things get done before the wedding. It's not an option. It's a necessity. Okay, that was correct. So then you would do the next one.
For example, can you listen and order the food most importantly theyไม่เติมนี่ลงไปนี่have to arrange by May.
Okay. For example, that's very good. Thank you. For example, Anna, what did we put in there? Has to, because it's a necessity. She has no choice here. If the wedding is going to go through, Anna has to buy a dress, choose her bridesmaids, and send out invitations. These are all things that she has to do. They're all necessary. Okay, starting with Bill.
Bill has to plan the reception and order the food.
Correct. Bill has to plan the reception and order the food. Okay, necessity. Starting with most. Nat?
They have to sign the meeting will be.
Where?
They have to decide where the wedding will be.
That's correct. They have to. The pronoun they takes have to. She and he takes has to. They have to decide where the wedding will be. And then Tim, you would start with Anna.
And I want to get married outdoors, but you think they don't have to plan an outdoor wedding because it might rain.
Which one do we put in for number 6?
Or two.
They shouldn't.
Are we going to use should, shouldn't, have to? Shouldn't?
Because it's very rare.
But Bill thinks they shouldn't plan an outdoor wedding because it might rain. Shouldn't. In other words, it would be advisable not to have a wedding outdoors because it might rain. Exactly. So then you'll do the next one, Toy.
He realized that they ought to get married so soon.
What did we put in number 7?
Ought to.
Ought to. He realizes that they ought to get married so soon. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that. Does anybody have a different idea? Now, Bill has a different idea. He realizes that they shouldn't. Shouldn't. There we go. Yeah, because what's happening here is Anna is planning the wedding and Bill's starting to get second thoughts about whether there should be a wedding after all. He realizes that they shouldn't get married so soon. It's advisable, Bill thinks. Now, Anna probably has a different idea. Bill thinks that it is advisable that they delay the wedding. So he's thinking that, maybe not rush this so quickly. So then let's see, the next one, the next sentence for number 8. Chop, would you do that one for us, please?
They ought to postpone the wedding until spring.
Okay, ought to would be the correct one. Yeah, maybe they ought to. Or we also could say should there. Should would work just as well. Ought to and should, almost in all cases, ought to and should are interchangeable. We can use either ought to or should. Let's see, Pip, that way.
They have to feel so much.
Well, let's try that again. That way they
Have to.
Feel so much assured.
Have to.
They don't have.
They don't have to.
That way they shouldn't feel, shouldn't
They don't have to
feel so much pressure. They don't have to feel so much pressure. Okay? That way they don't have to feel so much pressure. Now, let's do this. I would like you to think of a sentence to speak to me that uses ought to. Say something to me in a sentence that uses ought to. And you can work together if you want to like work together and come up with a sentence together. That's okay. But I would like you to use the phrase ought to correctly, speaking to me.
You ought to take more rest after class.
I ought to what?
Yeah, take a rest.
Take a rest?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Take a rest. More
Okay.
rest.
All right, I will do that. That's a good,
Okay.
because she's giving me advice. That's good advice. That's good advice. What I will do after class is I will go have lunch with my friends, and then I'll lay back or relax. It's an idiom. I'll kick back.
Yeah.
I kick back. You know that idiom?
No.
To kick back?
Keep back.
Kick back. Yeah, kick back.